Hi, I'm April Connors with Windermere Group 1, and today I am here with Ann Spillman, and she is the Executive Director of the Academy of Children's Theater in Richland, Washington. So Ann, tell me a little bit about the Academy of Children's Theater.
The Academy of Children's Theater is a great place for students all over our Tri-Cities community to come and learn about theater arts education. That can range from anything to being on stage in a play or a musical, or being behind the scenes where you can run the lighting and the sound, helping with costumes, with sewing, with makeup, doing hair and styling. So we have many opportunities for kids to learn the art of theater. We also teach a lot of classes. So maybe being in a production or being in a play might not be the right fit. We do have week-long classes all summer long that range from themes of Harry Potter to a summer stage musical to superheroes and villains. And the idea behind those classes is that we help kids learn the skill sets behind theater, which include public speaking, sociability, team management, team building. We try to give the kids opportunity to be able to build a team and work together, all through learning theater arts educational skills.
So I know where a lot of the kids come from that come to ACT because my kids have been coming here for years, but I'm going to have Ann tell you a little bit more about where other kids come from within the community.
Yeah, we are so thrilled that we can serve a very broad population of students. Sure, we have kids that come from all three of the Tri-Cities, but we actually have students that come up from Hermiston, from Prosser, and Connell. We even try to take some of our programming to those communities that are a little bit further away from our central Richland location. So we're very excited that we're a regional space. We're a regional theater where kiddos from southeastern Washington can come in and learn about theater arts education.
So on that note, there's not another children's theater program as large as Academy of Children's Theater until you get to Spokane?
Yeah, Spokane's actually a very supportive partner. We have talked a lot over this crazy pandemic year about how to still work on doing Zoom-style theater arts education. But correct, yes, we are here, we are us.
So Ann has been at the Academy of Children's Theater for a long time, and she's gone through many roles within the organization, but currently, for like the last 5 years or so, she has served as the Executive Director, which means you're in charge, right?
No, I actually began my ACT career on stage as a kiddo. So my very first play was in 1995. It was technically ACT's very first main stage play. And we put on a musical version of The Christmas Carol. And I don't remember being in the play because that was quite a long time ago, but I so remember how important it was that I was in charge of moving the hat rack on and off stage. And it was an important job when you are little. Hat rack. Also because the hat rack was twice my size and a little top heavy, so it would come wandering on this hat rack, put it on, run off stage. And one of my stories about what a big impact ACT had for me and why I continue to work with them and continue to make sure that this mission is out in our community is because that hat rack moment was one of my tiny critical moments in life. There was one production that I do not know what the fireplace people were thinking, but they did not put the fireplace on the little marks on the floor it was supposed to, and it was too far away from the hat rack. And standing in the middle of the stage, lights down, tiny Ann just had to give herself the freedom to make a choice about where to put this hat rack, on the little mark where it's supposed to go, or over by the fireplace where it would seem more natural in a house. I chose to put it by the fireplace, and I ran back and I stood by the stage manager, who I thought was very stern. Turns out she's a lovely lady. I thought that was very stern, and she said, without even looking at me, "Nice choice." And that changed my life. I knew that I could make a nice choice all on my own. I didn't have to ask an adult. I knew I had the capacity to do that. So that was a very moving moment for me. Throughout the rest of my ACT career, I just like being in plays. Kind of like some kids like being on the soccer team or playing t-ball. I just like being in plays. I mean, the neighborhood kids did it, I was doing it. I had a lot of peers that went on to do theater as a profession, and it was so fascinating to be on stage with them because their passion and skill set was so clear so early on, and it was so evident that there needed to be an outlet for them to practice that, to be able to build those skills and to be able to eventually grow that craft so that they could go on to have professional careers. I ended up actually teaching during my college summers here, and I loved it. And I'm so glad that there are people that are qualified teachers, because that is a hard job, and I no longer do that part very often.
But I've seen you.
I do love directing, and I do love
plays,
jumping in every now and again to do a workshop. But for me, it's not so much the teaching aspect. It is because, gosh, when you are in a room with those kiddos and you see them working and you see them challenging themselves and trying new things, oh, that is just a kind of like hope for the future and excitement that is almost indescribable. So I do like dabbling in the programming aspect as well, even though my job is a little more
comprehensive.
Yeah.
Well, and the one thing about Anne that she's being so gracious about is she could go anywhere, and she could do anything within either the Tri-Cities or around the state or nationally, and she chooses to stay here with us and support the local kids and help them grow. And
it's important. Yeah. It makes good humans. So
yeah. And I loved the point you made about moving your hat rack, because she talked about it earlier, but in theater there's a job for everyone.
So. We adopt a lot of families that way. Yeah. One or two kids of the family might want to be in a play, and by the time the play is going, the sister's running the spotlight, and the brother's over there putting on microphones, and
the parents are painting sets.
And the parents are painting sets. Everyone finds a job.
Well, you have to. Really, the show couldn't happen without everyone.
It is your family's theater.
Yes, right. So in the community, you always need support. Windermere has been your kind of big cheerleader here for a few years, supporting your theater, sponsoring your theater, but there's so many other ways and so many things that you guys need in the community, from community members, from monetary to helping to, guiding. What else what do you need right now?
Coming out of this last pandemic year, I think our number one priority is rebuilding. And for us, that need means we want you to come and participate. If you have a kiddo or grandkiddo that would love to take a class this summer, that's our number one next step to getting back to being able to have ACT run as we knew it. So participation in both the classes and in the productions that are coming up is our top priority. As you mentioned too, we have fundraisers that sneak in every now and again. And again, participation in those, attending them, attending them, donating to the silent auctions, live auctions, whichever elements that we have for those given fundraisers. That's really, we're theater people. We love to perform, and we love to be able to have an audience and put on that show. And so we like audiences. Participation members and audiences is a great way to actually get involved. Yeah.
So another way, if you're not walking with Windermere and ACT right now, you can they have a GoFundMe account set up for the 5 charities that we're working with right now. You can go to www.walkwithwindermere.com. You can scroll down, you can click donate, and you can actually, if you're not walking and you want to contribute, you can actually go there and just give them a little bit of money.
Thank you.
I didn't personally know this, but reading it on the ACT's website, you guys incorporated in 1995. And were you with them at the inception, or were
As
you?
As a kid, I was in the play. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're not as old as I thought you were, right? I'm kidding.
So it's kind of a fun Hanford story, because the Oak Ridge location of whatever the Hanford contractor was in 1995 sent a lot of their employees either back and forth or for 2-year commitments to here in the Tri-Cities. And turns out Oak Ridge has a very thriving children's theater. And we had parents show up and say, well, where's a children's theater? I want to get my kid involved. And thankfully, they just happened to ask the right person at the right moment. And Linda Hoffman was an educator in the Richmond School District, and she rallied 2 other educator friends, and they had a meeting in their living room and said, I think we need to write a mission and have a children's theater. Linda's background is very much in arts and education, and so in 1995, they incorporated ACT, and our first two productions were actually partnerships with the Richland Players and with CBC. And so they started to kind of host us being able to put on plays that featured young people, almost exclusively, but kind of the mission really, the way that the theater element was created was to be able to choose plays for children by children, meaning they were for kids and there were kids in them. So you got a peer-to-peer energy. When little kids came to see a play, they're like, I can be in that too. So that was from 95 to about 97. We rented space, we performed wherever we could, we kind of jumped around from town to town a little bit. Then we got into some longer term contracts, and a lot of people remember us being down in the old JCPenney building. Yeah, in downtown Kennewick. Oh, that was such a charming building. But we permanently purchased this building we're in on Welshon Way, even though we've actually rented 2 other buildings here. I always smile when I drive by them, but it was like destiny that Welshon Way was going to be the home. But we bought this building as an old trucking storage warehouse that was going to be converted into educational space and theater space. And
from the sign was still up in the back.
It even we kept it to this day for our own fun sentimental reasons. But we did in 2006 convert half the building into 2 classrooms and a black box, and then now in 2015 we reopened our campaign to finish building out the Windermere Children's Theater, with the goal of having that done by the fall.
So originally you guys were going to use this back wall, correct? And now you're facing this way?
Yes, so where you see the white square will be the stage, and risers will fill up the rest of the space because we do want to maximize our seating capacity. And we'll be able to, of those regal chairs in there, I believe fit 181 chairs. And we made a lot of choices on how we got there, but I do think that it's the best long-term solution. It is most conducive to the most people.
Well, and there's still opportunities. I don't know how many chairs you guys have sold yet, but there's still opportunities to purchase chairs
and
within
I
the
should
theater.
note that because we are like down to our last, probably with that number, like 181. We're probably down to like our last 20 or 30 chairs.
Yes.
So
if you want to have a lasting legacy in the community, they are
$1,000
each
sponsorship. Yeah.
For sponsorship. You get a plaque on the back of the chair, and it's awesome. I have a couple, and
you do. Yeah, I have a couple.
I should get a couple more maybe, but it's a great way to support the community as well.
Yeah, it also makes it for kind of a fun experience for kiddos to come in and see the importance of sponsorship and becoming a philanthropic donor in the future. Being able to see a name on a plaque is something that they might say, oh, how did they do that? I might want to do that. So
yeah, good. It's great.
The pandemic here, tiny hitch in the giddy up, but we are moving forward. So that's kind of how the building happened, and then the programming kind of complemented it. So when we did get our classrooms built in 2006, we were able to hire on a larger team to be able to have an education director. We brought on eventually an artistic director, and we have anywhere from half a dozen to a dozen teachers throughout the year that come in and are our teaching staff. And those individuals are also professionals within the community who have a variety of backgrounds in how they dabble in art, but many of them are either educators who thankfully find us because we kind of just provide, like I mentioned, that outlet of watching kids. It gives as much as it receives. So they do come and teach during the summers. And then we also just have some professional artists in the community that it's so great to have our kids exposed to them, because every director is a little different. Every teacher is a little different. And as we all kind of know, that just translates into your ability to adapt and your ability to understand and be flexible kind of in any community you get put in, not just theater.
Well, and a couple of things that I wanted to point out is you talked about Linda Hoffman. People like Linda Hoffman are still involved. They're still here, they're still helping. Her and her husband live in Florida.
They do, yeah.
And they still provide a scholarship for kids at ACT. I mean, it's people don't stop being involved with the Academy of Children's Theater. And the other thing that you mentioned was the different directors that come in. And my daughter had the opportunity to work with Jenny Quinley, who is CBC's director, and just, great experience to be able to work with not only, people at
Staff,
ACT, but also people that are teaching at a higher level, that are involved, like you said, with Richland Players or with the Shakespeare group, the Rude Mechanicals. It's just amazing the collaboration within the community. You guys even did an opera.
We did.
With the Master Singers, and that was really fun. I mean, I think it was the first time, right? And so there's so many great collaborations that go on.
Yeah, we are lucky in this community that the arts groups are so collaborative and are so happy and willing to partner. I happen to know that that's not the case everywhere, and so that is something that's great about this town, that not only does it overlap some of the similar people, but just in general, people understand that art has a special place in our lives, and we want to make sure it's present as often as possible.
Well, hopefully we can show some costumes upstairs too, because I love the fact too that ACT has huge costume room upstairs, which hopefully we get to see. And then there is actually another section up there that the MCMT has, correct?
Yes. So half the costume loft is there.
So it's kind of neat. So you see people in and out, but there's also a collaboration with costumes.
Sure.
I mean, if a school needs them, they come and borrow them and check them out. If you guys need them from somewhere else, people are. So it is a great community for those kind of things.
Indeed. Yeah. Can you name what this is? The chest of drawers from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, that is
when
Beauty and the Beast. When she turns into a human. Yes, yes.
Can you name?
Okay, she's gonna quiz me now. It's like, I'm not sure about this. And you think I would know this? I've been involved in most of these.
Well, I mean, a lot of them are good, but
I know this dress was very interesting. This dress was reconfigured and
Multiple
borrowed
times.
by Southridge High School.
Oh, for Delaney.
For Delaney for the funny show they did about the princesses, the Game of Tiaras. That was a.
So this was a Cinderella dress, but we've had several. So Cinderella dress 2, Cinderella dress 1. I don't know if you can see up there, I can't get it down, but we actually costumed the Yellow Brick Road as a human. And so he wore a Yellow Brick Road suit.
Okay, so these look like you had all of these for.
Oh gosh.
Well, these have been used a lot. High School Musical.
Anything red, sure.
Silly Girls and Beauty and the Beast. You've had.
Oh, perfect.
Anything red.
It's right here.
Oh,
You can edit this together.
There's the wardrobe. Oh, let me get the dress and put them side by side.
Wardrobe, not human. How cute. Right?
So, Beauty and the Beast transformation.
Right. You can even turn them around. They're even detailed on the back. Whoop! I'm just trying to see if there's always tons of good stuff, but this was Chip and Mrs. Potts. Just, I guess it went this way. And should stand like this the whole time. Short and stout. Yeah. Now it's just fun. Now it's just stuff we turn into other stuff all the time.
I'm afraid she's gonna quiz me again. Oh, there's a whole section of green over here. This was all, there was like, oh, this not all together now. I was gonna say the Wizard of Oz section, that was, ha ha ha, ho ho ho. How we rock our day away in the merry old land of Oz.
I think, April, all the, like all the costuming costumes are over here.
What's that, Ann?
They didn't use this in yours, but
oh yeah,
these were the first 2 times we did
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland, the deck of cards. April, fun fact, do you know who did make these?
No.
My mother.
Your mom. And then Mayfair made
in like
the,
1997.
And Mayfair made the
They're still
one,
hanging out.
The next version.
Still hanging in there.
Academy of Children's Theater has 9 weeks of summer classes. They're incredible. Some of my kids' favorite were Harry Potter, which I think a lot of people are. We had a princess stage too. Yeah. But you can register now?
You can.
Okay. And when do those start?
June 21st. Okay. They are each week-long classes. So when you sign up, you'll sign up for a week each time, and they're all thematic. So you can go from Harry Potter to Jedi Academy to Pirates and Princesses to superheroes. Take your pick.
So, Are we in person? Are we
We
Zooming?
are in person this year. We are following all safety guidelines, which change so often, but currently our plan is to start in person outside. We are preparing our indoor spaces, because they're air conditioned, to be able to be safe and flexible for the students as well.
But the outdoor space is really nice, so hopefully we can take a peek at that before we leave too, because I think you'll want to sign your kids up if they want to participate, and I would suggest that they do. The classes are amazing, and you can go to the Academy of Children's Theatre, and it's theatre.org.